Today, you're going to learn a very important word, how to say yes in Chinese. Yes, you can't say yes wrong in Chinese. That's because the word yes in English you're looking for does not exist in Chinese, not equivalently. No, this is not one of the videos or articles that tell you 8 ways to say yes in Chinese or how to say yes in Chinese to sound like a pro. No, it's not one of them. This video serves a single goal. I want to build a common sense about how to say yes in Chinese correctly. For that purpose, I divided all possible yes-no questions in the English logic into 5 different categories that require different yeses individually. These 5 categories are not different in English, as they require the same answers, yes or no. It's either or, and they always work, whether it's a question about a fact, such as, is the earth round? Or a question about a status, is the school far away? Or it indicates an offer rather than a real question, such as, would you like some tea? Or it could be a request, can I watch TV now? Or it could be a question about a choice, are you cold or not? In English, all these questions could be answered with a single word, yes. So, when you search for the answer for how to say yes in Chinese, you are actually looking for a word that is identical as yes in English. You're looking for a word that works exactly as how yes works in English, which again does not exist. So before you start the gathering process of all possible expressions in Chinese that could work as yes, the first thing you need to do is to understand what I call the user intent. Why did someone ask you a question like this? What does this question mean? Let me explain. Let's take a closer look at these questions. In English, they don't really differentiate from each other. The answers in English would be similar. Yes, it is. Or no, it isn't. Or yes, please. No, thanks. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. They all share the same element, yes and no. Yes or no work as an overall judgment. It's always about right or wrong. But the Chinese language doesn't work this way. That's why I decided to give a lesson on how to say yes in Chinese. And next week, there will be another lesson on how to say no in Chinese. By doing this, I truly believe I can help you understand how Chinese works as a language better. And at the end of this video, I will give you a master key, an answer that works with every possible question. So make sure you stay till the end. Hi, this is Chi from Deepling, a channel that makes Chinese easy. If you're new here, this is a place where you can learn Chinese as a beginner as easily as possible and for free. If you're interested, you could watch the short trailer where I explained why I offer Chinese courses for free on YouTube. Yes, they're completely free with no strings attached. So if you're learning Chinese, make sure you subscribe to follow all the courses that I publish on YouTube every week. So, who should watch this video and why? Today's video is a little different. Since it's such a frequently asked question, how to say yes in Chinese, and the answers I find so far on the internet are simple gathering of words that could replace yes, which are sure, go ahead, no problem, which are also identical in English as yes. So I decided to produce a video that explains how yes works in Chinese. So anyone who is interested in the answer to how to say yes in Chinese can watch this video without having to watch the other lessons. However, if you're someone who's been following my courses so far, you would find this video as the perfect sequel to the other lesson because you have just learned how to ask a yes-no question in Chinese. Again, the word you're looking for, how to say yes in Chinese, that one word does not exist. They vary from different situations. Let me give an example, and I've observed this for a long time. When people serve you tea, in English, they would ask, "Would you like some tea?" And the answer would be, "Yes, please," which is correct and polite. And in Chinese, people would also ask, "Would you like some tea?" However, if you answer with "Yes, please," or even "Yes, thank you," 是的，谢谢, it is correct because it fulfills its purpose. However, it is not really correct because this question requires another answer that serves as yes, which is not 是的. We will get into the details later, but here's the short version first. 是的 would actually mean, yes, you guessed correctly. It is true that I want tea. Though it fulfills its goal of communication, it could sound arrogant. What happened here is someone was friendly and offered you something. And the appropriate thing to do is to be friendly as well and show your appreciation. For those who have been following my lessons so far, there will be 2 specific sequels from the lesson 14 so that you could practice all the answers to the questions you've learned so far systematically. I describe what we're about to do as finding the user intent. Whenever someone asks you a question, there is an intention behind it. Now, let's take a closer look at these questions. I will explain each category individually to help you understand what they really mean, so that whenever you encounter a new question next time, you could first figure out to which category this question belongs to, so that you can then decide which is the correct answer to say a yes to. As already mentioned, there are 5 different categories. Let's start with the first category. How to say yes in Chinese to a fact question. Is the earth round? Yes. If you have followed the lesson so far, you can also understand it in Chinese. 地球是圆的吗? These kinds of questions ask about facts. Generally speaking, if something is about the truth, there is a right and wrong. This is also the closest expression for yes in Chinese. 是的. So, 是的 would be an ideal answer to state something as a fact. Yes, it is true. And ideally, you would add something to this question just like you would in English. Yes, it is. In Chinese, it is 是的. Then, you simply repeat the question without the ma, where the fact is stated. 是的, 地球是圆的. Let me repeat the question again, and then the answer, how to say yes in Chinese. 地球是圆的吗? 是的，地球是圆的. And that was the category fact questions. The second category are questions that ask about a status. 学校远吗? People often would accept 是的 as the right answer here as well, because you can almost see it as a true or false question. But since we're being precise here, this is not a true or false case. The school could be far for you, but not far for someone else. So this question is not about the truth, but your opinion. If you see it this way, someone is actually just asking, do you find the school far for you? That is why a 是的 could sound correct, but a better answer would be your opinion. Is it far or is it not far? So, A better answer would be 很远 or 远，不太远，不远，一点也不远。What you have learned in lesson 1. So now, let's repeat the question and answers again. 学校远吗？很远，远，不太远，不远，一点也不远。And saying yes here means making a decision between very far or far, 很远 or 远。
Now, let's take a closer look at the questions with which you better answer with something else rather than 是的 if you want to say yes.
Now, the third category with questions you really can't answer with 是的 anymore. An offer or a suggestion. Would you like some tea? There are a lot of ways to offer tea in Chinese. I'm picking one of the easiest ways so that you can make the most out of this one. 你想喝茶吗? Do you want to drink tea? To answer an offer like this, 是的 would no longer be appropriate, because this question is really not about true or false. While yes please in English would still be very polite, in Chinese saying 是的 would sound childish and impolite. The better answers would be 好，好的 or 好啊。So the answer to suggestions or offers is 好 as in good and not 是的 as in correct.
I think I would put it this way. Imagine if you're a little child, that would actually work. Because if someone asks a child, do you want some tea? And a child is honest, he or she would answer with, yes, I do, or yes, I am thirsty. But if you're an adult, you would understand this is not a question about if you want tea. Somebody is offering you something nice, and you need to decide, do I take it or do I refuse it?
And since it's something nice someone is offering you, a 是的 as yes would sound cold here, because it is not about the fact that they guessed right that you want tea. So you need a more friendly reaction to accept the offer. That would be in a way such as, what a good suggestion. Now, let's repeat the question and the answers again. 你想喝茶吗？好，好的，好啊。
If you consider the question this way, I think it becomes easier to understand why 好, good, is the better option here. Because you are telling the other person in a very friendly way, I think it's a good idea to drink tea instead of telling them, yes, correct, you guessed it right, I do want tea. I hope this makes sense to you.
The fourth category shares a similar logic. A question that works as a request. Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? And again, it is not about true or false. This is a typical question that asks for permission. So it is not a true or false, but a you can or you can't. And the yes version would be you can, 可以. Now, let's repeat the question and the answer again. 我可以看电视吗? And the yes for this category is 可以.
The logic here is quite similar. As already said, 是的 indicates more or less about true or false, right or wrong. But if someone can watch TV, it's not about true or false or right or wrong. Clearly, someone is asking you for your permission, and you need to give a clear permission, which could only be you can or you can't.
And the last category is about questions of choices. There are many versions of how to ask a question of choices, and I'm just picking a typical one. Important here is that you recognize that this is about a choice. Is it A or is it B? For example, are you cold or not? 你冷不冷? This is a very typical yes-no question in Chinese we will learn very soon in the coming lessons. Unlike in English, this is not unfriendly at all. Quite the opposite. 冷不冷, cold not cold, is a very friendly expression. You will learn the details in the coming lessons. So let's focus first on how to say yes to a question like this. 你冷不冷? Meaning, are you cold or not cold? 你冷不冷? And here you must choose. You can't just give an overall answer as yes or no. You actually need to decide between cold or not cold.
I think the logic behind this one is the easiest. It is either cold or not cold. 冷不冷 actually means 冷 or 不冷. So you have to decide. It's just like somebody is offering you coffee or tea. You can't say, yes, please. You need to say coffee or tea. And here, you actually have to decide instead of just saying yes, 是的. You need to tell the other person either it's cold or not cold.
Let's review the question and the answer together again. 你冷不冷? Are you cold or not cold? And the yes to this question in Chinese would be 冷.
Now, let's make a short summary of how to say yes in Chinese correctly. And right after that, I will finally reveal the master key, how to say yes universally in Chinese.
I organize these questions into 5 categories with which you can give different answers to with yes. They are fact questions. Is the earth round? 地球是圆的吗? Here, it is a question about true or false. So, you can say yes in Chinese as 是的. Or, if you like, 是的, 地球是圆的. Status questions. Is the school far away? 学校远吗? And the yes in Chinese here is 很远 or 远. An offer or a suggestion. Would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? And the yes in Chinese here is 好, 好的, 好啊. A request. Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? And the yes in Chinese here is 可以. A question of choice, A or B. Are you cold or not cold? 你冷不冷? And the yes in Chinese here is 冷.
Now, finally, the bonus tip I promised, the master key of how to say yes in Chinese correctly. Just skip the yes. Forget about the yes. What did I say in my last video? Chinese love repeating useless stuff. Just repeat the question as a statement. And this is the master key to answer the question how to say yes in Chinese universally.
Now, let's take a look at these questions again. A fact question. Is the earth round? 地球是圆的吗? And the answer would be 地球是圆的. A status question. Is the school far away? 学校远吗? And the answer would be 学校远 or 学校很远. An offer or a suggestion. Would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? And the answer would be 我想喝茶 or simply 我想. A request. Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? Of course, 可以 is already the repetition, but you can also repeat the entire sentence. 你可以看电视. A question of choice, A or B. Are you cold or not cold? 你冷不冷? And the answer is 冷 or 我冷. Simply repeat the question as a statement.
And that is all for how to say yes in Chinese. I hope this video helped you gain easier access to the Chinese language, and it truly helps you learn Chinese more easily as a beginner. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe so that you could follow all the free courses that I publish every week on YouTube. Because together, we can make Chinese easy.